The Weekly Warp Pipe.
Welcome, everyone, to the Weekly Warp Pipe.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah. Jay pulled this topic out and shot it to me in text, and I said, that's a good one.
I thought you were going to say out of my butt.
Try to keep it PG.
Well, bum.
So,
anyway.
Anywho, we're talking mini consoles, the craze of the mini consoles. There's quite a few that came out. Talk about collecting them,
There's
using
two of
them,
them in
playing
front
them.
of me right now. I don't know.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I can get them in hand
Unhook
or
them,
not.
show them to the crowd.
Here's one.
Nice. Got the
Here's
Sega Genesis
Here's two.
and the Nintendo. So
Video
that was
games in the palm of your hand.
that was the first one announced. Was the NES Classic, they called it, right? And it gets bundled in with a bunch of games.
NES Classic Edition.
What were your first thoughts on that?
So it's funny. I was actually thinking about this earlier today. My friend Todd, who we were highly competitive in our collecting early on when I started. He was getting it for Christmas, and I wanted it so bad, but I dragged my feet on like getting one, and they were like sold out everywhere. So I didn't. I was so jealous that he was going to get to open an NES Classic for Christmas, because all I wanted to do was like somewhat relive that feeling as a child. You know what I mean?
We're here on
I thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah, we're scrolling down. You get 30 of the classic NES games. And you know, they had something similar to these, I guess you can call. It's close to like a plug and play, right? They had all those Atari like plug and play systems with the games in it. So
Yeah, from
Nintendo
At
just said,
Games.
you know what? Let's do a mini NES and throw some NES games on here. And I'm sure probably someone had made prior to this, you know, used like a Raspberry Pi and put that into some case and maybe even made a little NES case for it and had a bunch of emulators and stuff on there, which you can do now with like 3D printing and everyone's got files. You could kind of make your own NES Classic. But when this was announced, you're like, oh man, 30 classic NES games. Like this looks cool. And then
I think it was kind of smart of Nintendo to. I feel like they had their finger on the pulse that the retro gaming scene was kind of like going off, you know?
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, how can we monopolize on this nostalgia?
Right. Bring it to the modern. And then so what you get in the box, you get the system. You get one controller, an HDMI cable, USB power cable, and 30 pre-installed games. And the packaging looks great too.
The one on there looks weird.
Does it look weird? What do you mean,
Yeah,
like the
that.
system itself or the package?
Just that package does not look accurate.
I think there's more red in mine. I can't remember.
Yeah. I wonder if I could grab mine without knocking everything over. The answer is no. But I thought they did a decent job putting games on there. There was only a couple games that I was kind of like confused by.
Yeah, here's is this all of them here? Yeah, we could run down the list here of the games that were included. They did Super Mario Bros. 1 and 3. Oh, and 2. Legend of Zelda. We got Donkey Kong, Metroid, Kirby's Adventure, Dr. Mario. Punch Out featuring Mr. Dream, so they didn't do Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong Jr., Zelda 2, The Adventure Link, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Kid Icarus, Original Mario Bros, Star Tropics, and then we got Bubble Bobble, Final Fantasy, Gradius, Pac-Man, Castlevania, Galaga, Mega Man 2, Super C, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Ghost and Goblins, Ninja Gaiden, Tecmo Bowl, and Double Dragon 2 The Revenge.
Yeah, I mean, they give you a pretty good selection. I just always wonder why they went Super C instead of Contra. I wonder what the reason was for that.
Right, or why not both? You got Zelda 1 and 2, you got Mario 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah,
also
you really need Balloon Fight or Ice Climber.
you got Double Dragon 2 and not 1.
The only thing I could think of for that was Double Dragon 1, not a single player game.
Right, Double Dragon 2, you can play 2 player at the same
Yeah,
time, and you got Castlevania 1 and 2,
no 3.
no 3. It did have special features too. It does say, save your game with suspend points. Pick right up where you left off with 4 suspend point slots, save states, basically. They call them
That's
suspend
right.
points. Just press the reset button while playing to return to the home menu and save your progress to a slot. Have a perfect run going. You can lock your suspend point and resume at a later time, so there's no danger of losing your progress. Choose your look with the display mode, CRT filter. Looks like an old TV, scan lines and all. 4
Huh.
by 3 gives you the original NES game look with a slight horizontal stretch. Pixel perfect. Each pixel is perfect square, so you see the games exactly as designed.
I don't remember which one of those I used.
I don't even know what's on, yeah, on mine.
I think I used the 4-3, maybe.
But this was, yeah, so awesome when it came out, and I thought it was super convenient with it being HDMI. It made
Right,
it easier if you wanted to stream these games, because if you were
right.
playing these classic systems and you had an NES, you needed some type of converter to go from AV to HDMI to plug into your capture card.
That's right. Yeah, when I got mine, it made my Retron HD kind of obsolete. The other thing that was cool was because you nerds out there are so clever, it didn't take long before people figured out how to hack this thing and put the entire NES library on it, and maybe more than that. But mine does have. I have two of them. I have one that I kept in original form, and one that I had because I think about a year later they released a second wave of these things, um, and so I got that one, and that one was hacked.
Mhm.
As I'm sure you have one as well, Russ, and which makes
Right.
it like you said, super convenient. To pretty much stream any NES game that you really want to.
Yeah, luckily I had one of my friends do that for me. So the NES one just has the whole library. You can fit the whole library on that one. But my priority one that I always use now is the SNES Classic. When they released that one, they ended up having a chip that you can purchase. You could fit a lot of games on it, but if you get this little adapter piece, you could put a micro SD card into it, giving you more storage. So my SNES Classic is modded, and I have every NES game, SNES game, N64 game, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance game, Sega game, Sega CD game,
Wow.
32X game, TurboGrafx game, Atari 2600, 7800, Virtual Boy. What else is on their full library?
So what you're telling me is you're gonna sell your whole collection, make a ton of money, and just use that like a smart person.
So I stream tons of stuff, and I also capture gameplay footage, right? If I'm doing my videos on YouTube and I want to get a certain scene or something like that, or just get gameplay footage, it's so convenient to use that, or play games like Little Samson, which is thousands of dollars, or
Right.
any of those expensive games. I'm like, well, this is
Panic
perfect.
Restaurant. Yeah. All that stuff.
Right. So I was super stoked to hear, when the Super Nintendo one was coming out. I got both of them at launch, got there, and now I feel like it's harder to get like the original because there are so many clone systems
There's a lot of
that came
clones.
out
Yeah.
that are like, we got 1,000 games on ours, and it's like, 7 versions of Mario 1, or like
Right.
so many duplicates.
My
It's just,
brother-in-law has one, and the games don't even have sound.
oh, on all of them or some of them.
I don't know if it's all of them, but at least some of them for sure.
So it's certainly hard to track down. I will say my buddy, his name's J2, custom NES guy. He does awesome paint jobs on systems, and he's been doing a ton of like these classic systems. I'll see if I can
Really?
pull up his Instagram. and show you guys, but he'll do like fantastic paint jobs on them and have them come loaded with games already in them,
That's cool.
and they look really awesome. Let's see, custom
One
NES
thing while you're
guy.
looking that up, one thing I'll say I wish they would have done, I wish they would have made it where you could flip the lid up and maybe have like just an NES game in there, like Mario, Super Mario Duck Hunt or something,
Yeah, like a
just like a little fake cartridge or something. That'd be kind of cool.
what is neat, which I could bring up, the way the controllers plug in, they're actually the same as if you had a Wii controller.
Right.
So what I ended up using, this is my primary controller here. This is a Wii Pro controller that would plug into the Wii itself, and it has the analog sticks and the regular buttons. So this allows me to play N64 games or PlayStation
Right.
games that are
Yeah.
modded. So instead of just using a Super Nintendo controller, so I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Okay, let's see here. Let's share screen here. Here's my buddy J Rod 2 custom NES guy. So here's some of the systems he's painted.
That's so sick.
He did a Mario, a Zelda, Mario 3. They look fantastic. He's
That
done
turtle's one. I love that green.
he does full consoles as well, but like here's like another Mario Kart one for the Super Nintendo he's done. And it's
Yeah,
like
that's sick.
he uses like automotive paint. He does paint cars and stuff, so but they come out awesome.
That controller looks so awesome.
Yeah. So I always see him, here's a full console and then here's the mini console where he matched it.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's cool that, people could do cool stuff like this with these consoles. I don't know if this is a full size or a mini one. No, that's a full size one. Okay.
Yeah, it flips up.
But check him out, custom NES guy. If you want some
That's so cool.
cool NES consoles.
That's cool that he started doing the minis too.
Yeah, kind of expanded out. And this way they come loaded with games, so you're also paying for like the games, and because
Right.
not everyone might not know how to mod it. Although there are plenty of videos on YouTube to follow a tutorial if you want to, add games.
Yeah, part of me wishes I would do that to my Genesis and my Super NES, but I haven't ventured out yet.
Now I'm trying to think of the release order. I'm sure we could look it up, but NES, Super NES came out, and then
I feel
was
like the SNES
Sega.
came out and then Sega was like, we better jump on this bandwagon.
I want to say Sega came and then PlayStation came. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't own the PlayStation one. Do you have it?
No, I did get the Sega one because I think it was like on clearance at GameStop for like 20 bucks or 30 bucks. Somewhere
Wow.
it was like super cheap. So I was like, okay, I'll pick this up. And honestly, I never even took it out of the package.
That's funny. It just made it super cheap. Yeah, I what's funny about that is I didn't take mine out of the package for a while, like 2+ years probably.
Hmm.
And then I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't have a Genesis. This would let me play at least some of the games I want to play.
So they
So
did
I have it.
choose the Model 1 version to
Yeah, which I think was
mini eyes.
awesome. Now later they came out with a second one with the Model 2,
Okay.
and it had a whole different list of games. I didn't bother to get that one.
So this one says miniature Sega Genesis includes 42 legendary games. You get one controller. It's a 3-button controller. Actually, no, you get two wired control pads, it says.
Yeah, they did a little better than Nintendo. They gave you two.
All right, what games does the Sega Genesis come with? We got Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Space Harrier 2,
You have
Shining
to say it like
Force,
Tyler. Space area.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Toe Jam and Earl, Comic Zone, Sonic 1. Now, why don't they just list these together? Sonic 2's like 3 rows down. It's like just put
No clue. That makes no sense.
Alter
Also,
Beast,
why wasn't Sonic 1 the first thing on there?
right? Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion, Streets of Rage
Shinobi
2,
3.
Earthworm Jim, Contra Hard Corps, Fantasy Star. I'll just kind of bounce around. Oh, Mega Man,
Any
the Wily Wars is very
yeah,
interesting.
any game that I ever wanted to play on Sega is pretty much on this, so I didn't need a Sega anymore.
There still are quite a few on here which I've never played before. You got this Monster World I never played, Alicia Dragoon I never played, Wonder Boy I never played, so
I
definitely
thought
a
it was cool
solid
they
list.
added the Darius game on there.
Oh, yeah, yep, and then what 2 bonus titles it says, yeah, the Darius and Tetris.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty sweet. Yeah, I did pick that one up, and they're fun to, like, display too.
Yeah,
J sec, let me show you yours. There it is.
mine's a little dusty. But look, see, they even went so far as to make it where you could
Oh, okay.
push that in, which is kinda rad.
So you can almost get a, 3D printed fake cartridge to slide in
And
there.
and this stuff all works, like, it moves back and forth, like, I think the
Wow.
volume goes up and
Yeah, look
down.
at that, the detail in that, fantastic.
Reset actually works.
Mhm.
So, yeah, pretty awesome.
I dig it, yeah, really enjoy those. Then I believe the, PlayStation came out with one.
The only other thing they coulda done was they coulda made, like, a little plastic insert that went in here that had, like, the little original port, to make it look more original when it's not being used.
I mean,
I
again,
mean,
with 3D printing technology for sure.
there you go. Somebody there's an idea for somebody. Gary, Rock Solid Productions, I see your name on that.
Let's see, I got this site here pulled up for the PlayStation. It's just on some blog here. Um, PlayStation came out preloaded with 20 games. It includes 2 wire controllers, available December 3rd, 2018 for
Golly, that was 6
$100,
years ago. Holy moly, where'd time go?
99.99. Here are the games that came with it: Battle Arena Toshinda, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, that's a pricey one, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, R4 Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms.
And how many of those get you excited to play this thing?
All right. Cool Borders, definitely. Maybe Final Fantasy and Intelligent Cube. My friend played that actually a lot growing up. It's a fun puzzle game, but again, quite expensive. Oddworld, I loved. Resident Evil, of course. Um, the others, not so much. Maybe Super Puzzle Fighter 2. Like I never played that one. I always remember seeing the cover. It's a puzzle game with Street Fighter characters in it.
So I wasn't a PlayStation kid. My friend Mark had it, and we played a lot of Twisted Metal at his house. So that's
Oh,
the only
okay.
one that really speaks to me. But if I'm not mistaken, that system did so poorly at one point they were selling them for $20.
Yes, yes, I
They
believe so.
dramatically had to drop the price.
Yeah, they didn't hit off as much as they would hoped. Maybe the nostalgia wasn't there for the PlayStation. It was too new, or I don't know.
Yeah, who knows what?
But I did not. I don't can't remember. I'm pretty sure I didn't pick it up. I don't think I picked it up and stored it somewhere. But
Yeah, I definitely did not pick that up.
and then we were all hoping for, the N64 classic.
64? Yeah,
Fortunately, that never came to be. People were, speculating, making so many videos on it, and be like,
I remember that.
what games would be on it? That was like super popular to make videos on, and that never came. And of course, we never got a GameCube Mini as well.
Right.
But we did get a Turbo Graphics Mini.
We did, and I have one. I don't know exactly where I placed it, or I would show it off, but
See if I could pull up a. I like how Nintendo had like dedicated web pages to their systems, and I can't find anything on like these other ones here.
there you go.
Jay has his, and it does have the little back piece and the place where you would put the U cards in.
Yep, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I dig it for sure. It looks nice.
And it came with that piece that like covers this to make it look like
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know, make it look
Thicker.
more yeah, or just oh here we go. This thing.
Oh, and yeah, it's
See?
got the TurboGrafx on it there, and then you
And
just
actually
slide it over with the cord.
yes, slide it over and try not to damage your cord. There's a spot for it somewhere. Over
Technology.
here. You know.
Yeah,
Anyway, but it kind of like makes it look more normal when it's all the way in.
nice.
But it has a really nice selection of games too. And because TurboGrafx 16 is so flippin' expensive to collect for, it was like
Exactly.
it was a really nice way for me to get like a good mix of TurboGrafx games without really paying too much. I think I paid 115 or 120 for mine on
Okay.
Amazon one day. I
Yeah,
randomly found one that had been returned.
yeah. I tried to find one to purchase, and it's tough to get it fairly cheap.
Yeah, I got
I'm
it on
trying
my
to see
birthday that year.
is there a list here of the games? No, it's just an article of them talking about.
If you want to wait 2 seconds, I will grab the box and I can read it.
I mean, that's we could wait, I guess, right?
Dance for them, Russ.
S- Now, I probably would have tried to sort it out and tried to get it myself, but I do have the TurboGrafx games on my SNE Classic, so I do play them there. Although I would love to still have the controller, so it feels more original of playing the system. So that was my only gripe, and hopefully I can track one down.
So when Amazon sent this to me, there was actually I don't remember which side it was, but there was like a return sticker on the front, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But luckily, I was able to carefully peel it away, and
Hmm.
now you can't tell.
Nice.
Okay, let's go over these games. There was Alien Crush. I'm going to hold this in front of me so I'm not speaking in the wrong part of the microphone. Blazing Lasers, Dungeon Explorer, Moto Rotor, Power Golf, R-Type, Victory Run, Chu Man Fu, JJ and Jeff, Military Madness, Newtopia, Ninja Spirit, Psychosis, Space Harrier, Splatterhouse. How do you say it?
Oh
Ease,
yeah,
Book 1
ease.
and 2? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whatever. Bonk's Revenge, Kadash, Parasol Stars, Airzont, Newtopia 2, New Adventure Island, Soldier Blade, Bomberman 93, and Lords of Thunder. But wait, there's more.
But
They
wait.
also include PC Engine games, The Kung Fu, Jessica Necromancer. I hope I said that first word right. Galaga 88, Fantasy Zone, Dragon Spirit, um, Apparel Gateball, Nectaris, Dungeon Explorer, Newtopia, PC Ginjin, which I think is
Hmm.
just a bonk game. Ease 1 and 2, the Genji and the Heike clans, Super Darius, Super Star Soldier, Damakia Chimera. I'm butchering these names. I'm sorry for those of you that are big TurboGrafx fans. The Legend of Valkyrie, um, Aldeans, Sierra Senseis, Spriggan. I don't know. Newtopia 2, Gradius, Salamander, Super Mama Tora Dintensu 2. Okay. Ninju Ryuken Din, which is a Ninja Gaiden. Star Pedorier, Spriggan Mark II, Snatcher, Gradius 2, Cho Anakai, Dracula X, we'll just say that. Bomberman 94, Bomberman Panic Bomber, and Ginja Fuki Disintu Sapphire.
Man, that's a
Yes.
lot of games jam packed on that
So it's got like TurboGrafx games and PC Engine games.
PC Engine game.
And
Yeah.
another cool little thing about this, it was made by Konami.
Oh yeah, huh? There it is.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just pulling up the eBay listings right now, and they're all, $289, 175,
Yeah.
225, 320.
Yep.
I'm not sure what they sold for. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it was 99, and I got mine for like 119. They also had a PC Engine version,
Right, you can see that in this one here. That one just sold for 190 August 7th, which
but
is pretty sweet.
I liked it because I kind of wanted to collect TurboGrafx games at one point.
Mhm.
I'm lucky enough to own a TurboGrafx, and I only own Bonk's Adventure and Keep Courage. Um, the TurboGrafx for me is very much a novelty. I just like it because I remembered it as a kid and always wondered what the heck it was, and
Yeah,
so this
yeah.
is my way of kind of getting to explore. Oh, this is what it would have been like if had I with that decision to get a TurboGrafx 16.
And I think that's why it was a good sell with, that one there. It's like so many great games, like, some of those games are hundreds or thousands of dollars because it's so pricey to
Right?
collect for that system, so you're like, "Oh, I'd spend, 150 bucks, $200 for this mini system
Yeah.
rather than one single game on TurboGrafx." Like,
I
they
mean, I
have
can't.
Air Zonk in there, and I think Air Zonk's
Right.
like a $1,000 game.
I can't even tell you how many times I've thought to myself, you should just sell all your games and keep all these mini systems, and you would have such a neater space, to live in here and get
Yeah.
the same experience more or less. I mean, because you got the controllers feel pretty good.
Right, I was telling him when you were looking for the, system itself, I was like, "I can play the TurboGrafx games on my SNES Classic, but I'm not
Right,
using that controller to make it more
right.
authentic." We did get a voicemail on our topic too, which I can jump to. Jay
It's
showing
that.
off the controller there.
It's just such an interesting. I think the TurboGrafx controller and the Sega Master System controller are so wild looking. I love looking at them just because the
Classic
NES was
ones.
all we ever saw.
Right. If
So
you guys did want to call into the show, we do have a phone number. You can leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on here. Number's 949-682-9277. It's 949-682-WARP. To leave us a voicemail, and we'll see what it says. Doo, 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 doo.
I keep dreaming, dreaming about my dream phone. It's for you.
Hey, Russ. Hey, Jay. Aldo here.
Hey,
Just
Aldo.
saw you were talking about some mini consoles and what people thought about it.
Hmm.
I think it's a fantastic gateway, entryway for people who maybe didn't grow up with these consoles, and I think it's a really good starting point. Maybe not a definitive way to obtain the library, unless you modify these things, of course. But I think when they first came out, it was a really nice novelty, and it saves a lot of space on the shelf, right? Instead of having these actual full-size consoles in your
Hmm.
media setup or entertainment deck, whatever it may be, and just the novelty of being able to hook it up to an HD TV, have a bunch of games built in, preloaded, I think is a really cool gateway. And, for younger generations, it's a way to get started, and maybe it might ignite that fire to get them maybe afterwards to maybe visit their local retro shop
Hmm.
or, check things out on eBay or whatever it is and maybe start their own journey into retro gaming. So I think in that regard, it's a really awesome entryway to the world of retro gaming. I mean, there's a whole bunch of retro consoles, mini consoles, and some are great, some are not so great, like the PS1 Classic. But
Yep, yep.
luckily with mods, you're able to amplify and make these things better than they are. And just from a personal aside, I think for me, my favorite ones are the consoles that I never could acquire as a kid. So things like the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, the Neo Geo Mini, things like that. Even though emulation may not be 100% accurate, even so, just the novelty of owning a replica of a console that I know I'll never acquire in my real life, to have it as a mini, I think is a really cool thing to just have with you, and you're able to just hook it up and start playing the games at any moment. So it's really cool. Hopefully they bring them back. I'm still waiting on a Dreamcast Mini, but they're cool. They're cool overall, and they're just really cool things to show up on your shelf. So thumbs up on the retro mini game consoles. Take care, guys.
it's a
Thank you,
nice message.
Aldo. Yeah, that's our buddy Aldo. Appreciate chiming in. Yeah, I didn't even remember the Neo Geo Mini did come out. So I
Yeah, I
pull up
forgot all about that.
it looks like a little mini arcade, right? So here it is
Oh,
here.
look at that.
And you can get this controller that plugs in, right? So this way you're not having forced to play like the arcade there. So that was
Wow.
their version of it, and there's quite a few different ones there. But that, yeah, very neat.
Now, is that the screen you have to play it on?
Yeah, so it comes with a built-in screen, yes, to like play it on that, but it does have the capability to plug it into a TV.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So this is more of a, hey, I can bring it to wherever and play it, or play it on my TV
Interesting.
and use the controller.
Neo Geo, Neo Geo. You remember that
But
song? By
no, by who?
Keith Apicary.
Oh, Keith Apicary.
Neo Geo, Neo Geo. Do great things, something like that.
But yeah, Aldo brings up plenty of great points for sure. Maybe it could be a gateway people getting into these systems that they never played before. Again, the only experience I had with Neo Geo was in the arcade playing some of those classic games. But again, I'd love to get the Turbo Graphics. I just wasn't quick enough when it was announced. Just, Nintendo was there. And I think probably Nintendo knew it was going to sell a lot. So they sold or produced a lot more units.
Yeah,
Whereas maybe Turbo Graphics, they didn't produce as many. So it's harder to track down or get.
I just got like crazy lucky. Like I just happened. I mean, this was like a while after they came out, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna check Amazon to see if they have one, and it was like one in stock, and I was like, sold
Nice.
on my birthday. Just got lucky.
We did ask you guys with our social media chime in on the mini consoles. So if you guys want to jump in on that, you can follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram and Facebook and the YouTube community tab, all the weekly Warp Pipe. And you can leave some comments and we'll play them on the show here.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
All right, on our YouTube community page, we got Waves and Games. I love the mini consoles. They brought my digital only family members back into retro gaming. And now some of my nieces and nephews are getting to play through Donkey Kong Country and other classics.
Nice.
One additional note, they are great desktop display pieces. Yeah, Aldo did bring that point up too, where it takes up less room on your entertainment center, or you can have the, NES, the Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega, and TurboGrafx taking up the space of like two full-size consoles.
That's right.
We got D Castro says, I had the NES Classic and the SNES Classic as well. They are both cool novelty items with a decent pre-installed library and HDMI connectivity, which makes it super easy to hook up to new TVs. Once I modded my SNES Classic and added every console/game to it, then I got rid of the NES Classic. So for me, love them. Yeah, I did still hang on to my NES Classic, but I can't say I ever play it unless I want to, feel that controller.
Yeah.
Although there are different games that my buddy loaded onto there. Like I have like 15 different versions of like Castlevania with different ROM hacks and stuff like
Oh,
that.
weird.
So
That's cool.
I could kind of still find some new stuff when I fire it up. We got Steve Eves Man Cave Arcade. I love the mini consoles. I have 5 of them. He's got the NES, the Super NES, Sega Genesis, PlayStation, and the Atari Flashback X, which we haven't mentioned. I'll have to look that
No.
one up. They were nostalgia personified. I remember waiting in line in front of Walmart just to get my hands on the NES Mini. Was so excited. I really wish they did a N64 Mini. That would have been such a cash cow for a Nintendo. All the different colors they could have done for the
Oh
console.
man. No kidding.
That's true. And controllers. It would have been a bin hit. People would want to collect them all. I know it's a long shot, but I'm still holding out hope that it will happen at some point.
No, I feel like there was some mention around the N64 Mini that it would have been hard to emulate that. Do they have emulators that do that though?
So I will say this on my Super Nintendo Classic, I do have all the N64 games, but they run like crap.
Yeah,
They
see,
don't work well.
I think that was an issue.
It could have been. So what I ended up doing was buying one of those EverDrive carts that I put into my original N64, and then it runs smooth because you're using original hardware, but just
Gotcha.
playing the ROM. So could be. I mean, maybe something figured it out. Maybe if you're running it on a Raspberry Pi, it's a better computer. So maybe they would have to have the price too high to have a better equipment to run the games. I don't know.
It's hard to know.
Hard to know. River City Ransom. What up? I personally love these things. I think it's great for casual gamer millennials to have so they can go back and revisit their childhood without having to collect all the physical copies. However, the controllers need to be wireless out of the box. The cord was too short. Oh, yeah, we didn't bring that up.
That's true.
Lots of people mount their TVs. The only other con I would say is that the stocks games they put on were a bit underwhelming, but luckily these consoles were so easy to emulate, and it's a great emulator as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
the cords were super short, so they made you buy these extension cables in order to,
Yeah.
sit
I will
at your
say the
couch.
TurboGrafx 16,
Mhm.
they gave you I mean, here we go. They give you a
Oh, wow.
pretty long cord there. Like
Okay. Jeez.
you got about 6 feet you're working with. So
Yeah. So that's good.
uh NES, they gypped you on the NES.
You got like literally like a foot and a half, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got one more here on YouTube. Mike says, I like the nostalgia of them. I only have the Famicom and Genesis Mini. The Famicom cables are too short. You almost have to be right in front of the TV.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember. Did they like the original Famicom? Are the controllers
Yeah.
attached to the system?
I can't remember, but I think so.
Famicom Mini images. Um, it does seem like it is. Yeah, I'd say so. So that stinks. Can't get any extender cables. You just have to get a longer HDMI cable to then put your console closer to you on your coffee table.
Yep.
All right, and then we'll jump over to I believe we have our Facebook. A couple people left some comments here. We got Colby. He says, was always curious if the mini consoles would take away from the value of the cartridges I already had, but seems like they took no effect on them. I have a Super NES Classic, which is a lot of fun, but would have loved to got my hands on a turbo one. All sold out in my area before I could find one.
Yeah.
And we got Lene says, gotta catch them all. I have the NES Classic and the SNES one. Jennifer says, I have the NES and SNES Mini, which are my favorite, especially since I modded them. The Genesis Mini, TurboGrafx 16, and PS1, which is my least favorite. They are a convenient way to play these awesome games on modern TVs.
That's right, J Love.
And then we got Mark chimes in and
All
says,
right.
I have most of them.
Mark's the man.
He's probably missing PlayStation. Or
I
I
need to
bet
go.
you TurboGrafx.
Does Mark still make content?
I haven't seen it. He always comments on all our videos and like my videos, so I haven't seen new stuff on
I
him,
need to
but
go see if Mark makes videos still.
I am making him a custom shifter knob. Actually, two custom shifter knobs. I have completed one. One is a Pikachu uh pop like his head, and then
Yeah.
he wants a Babam one just like mine, but
Nice.
he got him to me like while I was transitioning in my move, so it's hard to do DIY stuff now with between the move and all that. So I was like, I'll get him out to you eventually. Are you looking up Mark? See if he's got a
Yeah, I'm trying to find him.
do do do
I can't remember
do.
his exact. Is it Like MT Shark
Yeah, MT Shark
7, maybe.
and
Why
numbers.
does why does 7 sound familiar?
I'll put a
Oh,
7
because
in
it
and see.
is. It
It
is.
is
It is
7.
7. Look at that memory. So 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, yeah, he still does game pickups. Look at this. Shout out to one of the oldest channels I remember. MT
Yeah,
Shark 7.
Sinister's 2 Blu-ray not working 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Wow.
And then game
Mark's still
pickups
at
from
it.
Too Many Games.
Good for you, Mark.
As everybody.
Yes, got the Jaws music. I love it.
And with his daughter too.
Yeah, always with his daughter.
I got to meet her at the Too Many Games.
Such a positive dude. I always enjoyed Mark.
Perfect.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Keep rocking.
That's right.
Yeah. What else we got to say about these classic systems?
Which one is your favorite, do you think? And I know my like, let's say pre-mod.
I'd probably still go with the Super Nintendo one.
I think that one is the best as well. And that's the NES Addict telling you that.
'Cause you just have such great games. And we didn't even mention too, with the Super Nintendo Classic, it was the first time ever officially
Oh, yeah.
released Star Fox 2 came preloaded onto the SNES Classic.
That was a neat little Easter egg they threw out there for you.
Because prior to that, you can buy I guess they would be ROM hacks of the
But they weren't
cartridge.
complete though, right?
Yeah, that information I'm not sure. Maybe it was like missing some stuff. So this is, Nintendo releasing it. And I honestly will say I have not played it.
I have. I don't remember much about it, but man, it's just hard to compete with that because it had Mario World, it had Super Metroid, Super Castlevania, Link to the Past. I mean, oh, those 4 games right there, hard to touch.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
just so
so many good classics, like either games you can just pick up and play for 10 minutes, or if you wanted to go diving into more, then you're like,
You know what's
okay.
funny? Playing the SNES Classic was the first time I ever heard the water level music on Donkey Kong Country because I didn't have that game growing up and I didn't really play it very often.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember texting Ron Man Gaming and I was like, "Have you heard this music?" And he's like, "Dude, everybody knows about that
Everyone
music."
knows this music.
I was like, "Oh, I'm an idiot."
I'm looking at some footage of Star Fox 2 here.
It's like walking. It's fun.
Yeah, instead of a plane, you can get like some type of vehicle that walks, and then I guess you can
Yeah,
fly. Maybe I'll have to do a live stream of it. Who knows?
there you go.
Nice. Yeah, so I wonder, is there any future? We haven't heard anything of mini consoles coming out. Would they do a PlayStation 2? Um, Aldo suggested a Dreamcast Mini.
There you go.
It gets harder once you start getting into those disc-based systems, although they did do the PlayStation, so
They need to do a 32X add-on,
ah,
like a CD
I was
add-on.
gonna say if they did a Sega CD Mini, that would be sweet.
Wouldn't that be cool? I'd buy one.
Yeah, I don't think any more are coming out, but there could be always, hopes and stuff. But I said with 3D printing, people have made, their own N64 Mini, you can 3D print a
Throw a
shell
Raspberry Pi in it.
and then just put a Raspberry Pi and it's the same thing. Maybe the interface is a little bit
Yeah,
different. I do like the interface for the SNES Classic, the way they set it up.
yeah,
It mentions about the save states, you have to go hit the reset button, but on the controller here, we actually set it up. If you hit down and select, it brings up that menu, and then you can just save on the fly, which is way more convenient than like getting up, hitting reset, doing the
right.
save. Like, oh, I want to save again. And it's like, oh,
The
this is way easier. Why wasn't that stock?
the TurboGrafx 16 interface is pretty cool too.
Yeah, again, I think the main thing. So, like, I had my Wii mod it where you can add emulators to it with
Yeah, me too.
NES and all that. But the downside was it's just text of like the games.
Right.
And that's kind of boring. You're like, what game is that? I don't know. Like, I never heard of it. Whereas when you get these classic systems, you get the box art and you can scroll
Right,
through it and you're like, oh, yeah, that game looks cool. Or like, I remember
right,
that. So it gives you that more nostalgia. And when you mod them, you actually have to break it down into folders because everything gets so big. So you'll have like, all right, click into Super Nintendo, then it's like A through Z. And then it's
right,
like, all right, click into M. I'm gonna play Mega Man, but maybe there's so many M
right,
games, there's two different M folders.
right, right. Yeah.
But
Yep.
again, it's just looks a lot better. Plus the music is really cool for the menu
Yeah.
music.
Yep. I was
Um,
playing my NES Mini last weekend at my mom's house. I was playing some Punch Out.
right, and that does bring up a good point too. Maybe we didn't touch on with them being minis and everything loaded. They're fantastic for travel. Bringing it to whoever's house, bringing it on the road. Maybe you're going on a vacation and you're going to be at a hotel. Perfect
Yeah,
to
and
bring this in and plug in.
I was trying to find the I have like when they came out with the NES and the SNES, at least they came out with these travel cases for them
Oh, really?
that were really convenient. Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna grab one real quick.
Hmm. I just throw mine in my backpack. Here's
Just
if it gets
knocked over
scratched.
everything. Yeah, this is the SNES uh, case.
Okay.
So you open it up and
Oh,
there's your
yeah.
mini. So it makes like a nice little travel case, and they made one for the NES too. So pretty cool. I love these things, and they're pretty sturdy.
Yeah, nice hard clamshell there. I'll
Yep,
have to look into that. Because I say, yeah, it's great if you're going to game conventions and you got a hotel for the weekend and
yep,
you're just chilling in your hotel room and you're at a retro game convention, you want to stay themed. You're like, all right, let's play
yep.
some NES or Super NES.
It's rare when I don't take one of these to Ohio, so I can get some retro gaming in while I'm up there on vacation.
Yeah, nice.
So
Good travel. Dig it. I think that's it. I don't
sweet,
know. Anything
yeah.
else?
That's all
We
that comes
covered
to
covered
mind.
it covered it all.
Pretty cool though.
We deemed that the PlayStation is probably the least favorite out of them, and
PlayStation's the weakest.
I feel like not a lot of people know about the Neo Geo one because a lot of
I
people
don't
have.
think I knew about it.
Yeah, Aldo brought it up, and I feel like a lot of people just mentioned the big ones: NES, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega, and the Turbo Graphics were like the big ones. And that Atari one. What was that
Yeah,
Atari one? Let me look that up here. Atari
and the fact that this
Mini.
Genesis came out on a Model 2 later.
Right. They did like another one on that. Didn't he say it had an X or what was it?
Yeah, there's an X on the end. Oh, I gotta subscribe to Mark.
Mini
Must have unsubscribed
X
me.
Flashback X Retro. Here, I don't know. I'm on Amazon here. Let's see what this is here. Maybe this is the one. Maybe it isn't. The Flashback X. Yeah. So they want $260 because no one
Wow.
probably bought it. But looks like the controllers are connected to the. It looks like a 2600 with the wood grain.
It's interesting that it's neither the heavy sixer or the four. It's like a
Oh
five
yeah,
switch.
yeah. It's got 110 games built in.
God almighty. I guess I could when it's so basic.
What? It's only 720. Why not 1080?
Mm,
I mean, they're Atari games, so it would be that much clearer, but
right. I wonder if ET's on it.
yeah, does it list the games that are on it anywhere?
I don't know. 4 out of 5 stars there.
Lots of fun games included. Fun unit, tiny, easy to set up. Works with the Atari paddles, though you keep having to swap between the controller and paddle when selecting from the menu. Awesome old school entertainment.
Good. If
Nice.
if that was your review, let us know in the comments.
So, mini consoles, pick them up if you haven't gotten one. Again, there are tons of clone like consoles out there which have games on it. I wouldn't pay much for them. I think that's my fear of like trying to get the original like NES Classic. Like, just look at the buyer and make sure you're paying for the original. If
That's
it's
right.
like if they did do a re-release of them, so there should be a bunch out there. Custom NES guy apparently knows how to get them because he's been painting them and modded them. So
That's right. Left and right.
but pretty fun. I dig them. Let's see if you guys want to call into the show again. I'll reiterate that number. It's 949-682-9277. You can save it in your phone, leave us a voicemail. You can check out the weeklywarpipe.com for all your needs. We got stickers, magnets, shirts. Oh, I am working on, check this out, Jay.
Let's see it.
We'll see if we get this. Another guy I follow on Instagram. His name is the Retro Stitch. And I had just gotten, let's see, I can pull it out here. He did this hat for me right here for Metroid, the new game,
Ooh,
Metroid
yeah.
Prime Beyond.
That's cool.
And so I was like, hey, can you do other custom stuff? So I sent him a picture, and he did a rendition of the Weekly Warpipe in Stitch.
Wow, that's cool.
So if we were to get a Weekly Warpipe hat and have it stitched on, much like my bit by bit hat, I got this one on, I think, Printful. But
Cool.
the downside with the Weekly Warpipe, it has to be like so small. I would like it bigger,
Right.
and they're I don't know, maybe the machine only does a small one, so I'm like, I can't get it
Gotcha.
printed there. So I'm not sure what a price point would be for getting them there, but if you guys are interested, I'll add something, and then they'll just be, get a few made or whatever. So it'd be kind of neat.
Right.
Right? I don't know, do it on a black hat, I guess, or
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get green or purple to go with the theme, but
Oh yeah, green would be sick.
so maybe hats in the future.
Very cool.
Quick shout out to our Patreons. We got Dan and Nicole's Treasures Untold, Joe Sheevy, Trace Living Good, Samantha Chang, Rodney Torres, Retroholic 16, and Austin Mills. You can sign up over on patreon.com /Russ Lyman. Or let's see, I did set up, share screen. If you do
Ooh.
go to our YouTube page here, let's see. Oh, did I not make it go live there either? I
This
do
is
have.
join.
Oh, does it say join? Oh,
Yeah, right there. There you go.
there we
Now
go.
you found it.
You can join on our YouTube page to be a member. We
Ooh,
got
those
$1 a month
Warpipe badges.
so I got different warp pipe levels. So you got yellow pipe is $1 a month, the red pipe is $3, and then the green pipe is $5. So you
Ooh.
do get shout outs with the $5 a month there over on your YouTube. So you can sign up and you get different perks and stuff. So yeah, and if we do a live stream, you get these cool emojis. There's one of me, there's a Nintendo, a cassette tape, and a warp pipe.
I'm still mad Nintendo hasn't called us and thanked me for doing a shirtless episode.
I'll get on him. I'll send him a
Dang
message.
you, Joe. You got what you finally asked for. No thanks whatsoever.
Well, guys, we appreciate you jumping in the warp pipe with us, and we will see you on the next level.